A parting gift, unpleasant and painful, imparted upon our party on this post-penultimate episode of The Hapless Heroes.
A lobster creature with dead people spiked all over it would come out of? Where have you seen that before? One spot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hapless Heroes Podcast Quarantine Edition. I'm Francesco, and I will be your host, DM, and shepherd of an adventure this evening. I have a lovely cast of characters with me tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce them, starting with the way that their portraits are arranged on my screen. On my left, we have Dave as Sir Dellum Rook.
I can't wait to be rid of you all.
We have John as Hondo the Immortal.
Immortal and very much unconscious.
We have Phil as Malek.
Well, I should get out of the ritual chamber more often.
And we have Mike as Rovin Tossbottom.
This has been the worst experience of my life.
So, speaking of terrible experiences, you guys survived yet another one, as you had disrupted some sort of terrible necromantic ritual thing that was happening. There's a lot of those happening around the world these days. It's really bothersome for everyone.
You can't throw a rock without disrupting a ritual, apparently.
Right? I mean, gosh, what is this? What have the worlds come to at this point, right? There was, a necromancer that was doing some nefarious things, ended up summoning some horrid abomination through a portal on top of an altar that's at the back of this temple chamber underground in the Shadowfell where you guys are right now. You destroyed the abomination, you killed the necromancer, but before he died, he did impart you with some absolutely fascinating exposition about Ebenezer. And somehow, if you guys recall, Ebenezer from the very first episode, right? Like the whole plot of the fall upheaval that happened 160 years ago, and this rumor of some dark wizard causing this terrible, catastrophic event that literally leveled half the continent and has left the entire center of the continent of Telduria just a barren wasteland of wild magic, death, destruction, and undead. You guys, he talked to you guys. This necromancer made it seem like, or said something about how Ebenezer was the only person who could stop Vecna, and Vecna was the one who made Tarantus disappear, and is one of the most powerful and evil gods in the multiverse.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of weird stuff happening, in the planes of those who are much more divine and powerful than you folk. And this is probably, it's probably safe to say that you're probably the only people who know this now.
Yes.
And unfortunately, at least there's two of you here who probably aren't going to be the best people to do much with that information, because I don't think Hondo cares about anything besides himself. And probably nor does Rovin, to be honest with you. But you do have at least two servants of the Raven Queen here who have maybe some mixed feelings, because, obviously this person was trying to do something nefarious with this, creature that he was summoning that literally looked like it was like had souls that were trapped inside of it or stolen with it, that it attacked you with. And one could only assume that maybe it was coming here to steal more souls. Well, you put a stop to all that, and before the necromancer died and, gave his whole monologue, he did lob a fireball at the ground at his feet and has left Hondo down.
I would like to point out that this is how Hondo finishes like every arc that he's been in so far. Successful yet defeated at the same time. It's typical for Hondo, I would say.
So yeah, lots of forces at play here. Lots of injuries have been had. There is a portal swirling at the northern end of this chamber room, and you guys are sitting here now in what is just the eerie quiet that this temple normally is, and what Malek would probably be used to as someone who has been the steward of this place for a while. So that's where we are, and I will leave you guys to your next moves. I'd say maybe the first order of business should be taking care of Hondo, who is burnt to a crisp, lying on the floor in front of Malek.
Now, as an immortal, do I still have to roll saving throws?
Yes. If you don't receive any magical healing.
I believe that even though Malek had been previously insulted by this fighter, this man, this thief that comes to rub my face, even though you have small hands.
Yes, I was hoping the small hands thing was going to come up again.
My friend Handel, you must come back to us. O Raven Queen, we call upon you that this one is not ready to die yet. He must receive his chance and earn his place in the afterlife. And he will commence his ritual of revivify. Even though you're not like outright dead, you're outright dead?
He's not outright dead, he's just downed.
Oh,
so you can just heal him.
I'm just healing him.
Yeah, you don't need to do any crazy rituals for this man.
Yeah. Sir Dellum, I should do this, right? I'm not making a huge mistake.
Well,
No, he can't be let out of his torment that easily. Of course, bring him back.
Well, he also can't be let out of our sight. Who knows what he's going to get into?
That's too easy for him.
Rovan, come over. Inspect these bodies and see if there's any clues to this portal in front of us. Is there anything left of that necromancer?
A charred husk.
Okay.
Wait, did you heal Hondo, or am I making a death
Yes.
save?
No, I am crouched over you, healing you back to consciousness.
What are you healing him with?
Right.
Okay, well I have some spells here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't just be like, yeah, I heal him, and then we just assume that he's healed. Like, what's he using? What are you doing?
Yeah, well I want to give him some decent health. I did use quite a bit of my spells already, but I have a prayer.
It's almost as if this was designed to make you guys exhaust all your resources before the big fight.
I'm going to use my prayer of healing at a 4th level.
Look at that.
So
Everyone gets these hit points.
3d8 plus my spellcasting modifier. The modifier wisdom's 5. So let me roll my 3d8. All right, 26 hit points.
For everyone, you get hit points, and you get hit points.
Hondo sits straight up, and he punches Malek in the face. And
I would like a chance to dodge this, since I've been standing over you with my shield as my holy symbol.
Well, I mean, your chance to dodge this would be based on your armor class, would it not? So why don't you go ahead and roll me an unarmed attack against Malek?
Is that just a strength?
I mean, it's strength plus proficiency, because you are proficient with unarmed attacks. So just roll strength and then add whatever your proficiency bonus is to whatever the result is on the screen.
That is... what's my proficiency? Shit.
Can I?
It's above a 21 to hit.
Like you take you take one bludgeoning damage. You take 1 bludgeoning damage.
And after immediately punching the man who just saved his life, Hondo lifts his hands into the air, jumps up and down, and goes, I did it! I did it! I killed the bastard!
Technically, the bastard killed himself. technically.
Hondo wants to shove you back to the ground. And
Are you Malak? Malak wants to shove Hondo?
Yeah, yes, that's
Okay.
what I meant.
Hondo wants to shove himself back to the ground.
Yeah. I want to shield bash him. He came up and socked me, and I'm holding my shield,
good.
so I want to retaliate.
This is how we're gonna spend our time. This is wonderful. Yeah, sure.
So now wait.
Make me an improvised weapon attack with your shield.
Okay.
That's just gonna be your strength.
While you're making that attack, can I just clarify, when I'm negative 18 health and he gives me back 26?
When you go negative, when you drop to 0 unless the amount that you go negative
I'm at
exceeds
26
your maximum
HP.
HP. Correct.
How would I do improvise? Just a straight D20, or is there any sort of modifier?
It's actually just a strength roll.
Oh, okay.
It does not
Sorry.
It does not apply your proficiency to the attack because
I rolled a 7.
Yeah,
no.
Hondo's already walking away from you.
I would like to cast Charm Person. I get to do this once a day because of my infernal bloodline.
You're gonna charm Hondo?
All right.
I'm gonna try to charm you with a sort of like whistle. And it's gonna start kind of guttural, and then I will start speaking in my infernal tongue.
Uh-huh.
What kind of save does Hondo have to make for that?
Let me check.
You know, I could send him back at any time.
All you have to do is hit me, right?
Yes, all I have to do is hit you with Banishing Smite. You have less than 50 HP. You get sent back to whatever plane you're from.
Which
Hondo,
would be a win-win for Hondo.
you have to make a wisdom saving throw, Hondo. You are charmed.
That's a nope. Yeah, so now all charisma checks you make on Hondo are done so at advantage. And Hondo, you definitely feel very friendly towards Malek. He's definitely you just feel like he's a great buddy. He's a good buddy.
I was gonna chalk the sucker punch up to being revivified anyway, and not so much that he wanted to attack you. The sudden adrenaline.
Your previous interaction had left Malek with a, let's say, you get one last chance kind of mentality with you, and as soon as he heals you, the first thing you do is sock him in the face. And then just proceed to walk off like it's no big deal.
Oh no, he's not walking off. He's like Rocky after beating Apollo Creed walking off.
My friend, you are victorious. We should celebrate. Why not share a drink?
So Hondo shuffles around for his whiskey. When he takes a swig, does he still become invisible?
No.
Okay.
He is asking you to share some of your alcohol.
Hondo will throw you the whiskey bottle. Like, gently toss.
He's gonna stare at you and then hold it out and pour it on the ground.
All of it.
Well, he's holding it out and pouring it until nothing else comes out.
Hondo pulls out another whiskey bottle and starts drinking out of that one.
Yeah, because Hondo just thinks you're pouring it out for the fallen homies, you know what I'm saying? So,
Hondo will not be so easily thwarted.
I hate to interrupt this this celebration, but this celebration is interrupted by a blast of wind and debris and dust that seems to come out from the portal that is flat on, to the ground on top of the raised platform where the altar is, the northern end of the room. Like, you really just hit this gust of wind and all of this dust and debris and rocks and stuff like that shoot out through it before it again, it returns to relative calm. Let me use air quotes there.
Gentlemen, we must do something about this. I cannot leave my temple in this state. We must figure out where this portal goes.
I agree, we must investigate.
Or figure out how to close it somehow. I would like to investigate the portal. Like, is it just light, or is there a framework or any sort of structure to it?
It just kind of. There are a wide variety of magical runes that have been carved into the stone platform of the altar that encircle the portal that is opened, and they are glowing a bright red. And the portal itself has sort of like a flaming halo, surrounding it. You can kind of, if you were to peer at the portal itself, it does appear as though there is like some sort of room on the other side, but you can also see a bit of sky as well.
I'm thinking if this is where that horrid abomination came from, we cannot have this. We cannot have this open. We must seal this and remove it from this place immediately.
Our lady must be informed of this.
Of course.
And Sir Delamrook also begins to approach the portal.
Sure, you can. Again, it's I described it. That's what it looks like to you right now.
Yeah.
You said there are glowing red runes.
Yep, all around it.
Do they say anything? Is it words?
No, they are symbols.
Do the symbols mean anything?
Not to you.
Okay.
Who said that they were looking at the body of the necromancer or the charred husk?
Oh, I was supposed to be doing that, Rovan.
Rovan, amidst the charred body, there appear to be 2 books that look completely unscathed. They are bound in black leather.
Okay. I mentioned that to Malek. There are 2 books over here. I don't know if they're any use to us.
Bring them forward. Let me have a look.
He grabs them and then he brings them over to Malek.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to check these out. Clearly, I can't tell if I recognize any of this, the symbolism on the
no, because it's
glowing runes.
It's essentially there to aid with any sort of magical casting, right? Because some spells, while it's just verbal, somatic, material things, there are some more powerful magics out there that require the assistance of actually carving words of power, right? Ancient words of power into surfaces, in order to perform, to heighten the magic that's necessary for something of that nature. Now the books? Each of the books are clasped shut, and the clasps on each book is sort of like fashioned into an iron skull. And
seeing that Rovan found something on the dead guy, Hondo would like to go through his pockets looking for change.
No change in those pockets.
Damn.
Would Rovan assume that this is some sort of particular lock that he might be able to?
You might be able to.
Mess with. All right. So, sorry. I'm going to. Sorry, I'm struggling with this for a second.
Do you have proficiency with this one?
I have thieves' tools.
But do you have proficiency with them? Because then you can't fail.
Yeah, he does. The lowest he can roll is
Yes.
a 23 with these.
Yeah.
Oh, that is true.
So does a 23 beat it?
What would I use? I would use dexterity, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
19?
19? Yeah.
Wait, what,
19.
what did I roll then? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a 19 will open them.
Cool.
Rovan, please be very careful. I have a feeling these books are very dangerous and undoubtedly need to be destroyed. But before so, we need to know if they can help us close that portal.
The first book you open definitely details a series of necromantic rituals and summonings, as well as there's a few other magical spells and whatnot recorded in here. It almost seems like a spell book of sorts, but Definitely not the traditional one you'd see with just, different spells, like common spells copied into it. There are some larger rituals just depicted in here. The second book, however, is labeled as the Nibblenomicon, and it details different cooking recipes that can be performed using the aid of necromantic magic.
Strictly for food purposes, cooking purposes?
Yeah, the Nibblenomicon.
So it's a magical cookbook, if you will.
It's a magical necromancer's cookbook.
So it is an evil cookbook.
I mean, yeah,
It sounds like literally the worst branch of cooking ever
For some.
of all time.
For some. For others.
For most.
all of the processes involve necromantic magics, correct?
Yes.
Both of these books need to be destroyed immediately. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy.
Wholeheartedly agreed, and for totally different reasons for each.
Yes. My worst enemy would probably enjoy this very much. So I should make sure it never reaches him. Right? It needs to be destroyed.
And for the others, a crime against cuisine.
Okay. I would like to let's see. I'm gonna take my potion of fire breathing, and I'm gonna try to light these books on fire.
So yeah, you drink
without using it to close the portal.
Does it close the portal? I mean, it just says there's some various necromantic things in there. It didn't necessarily
there were
denote...
other spells in there. I mean, there's definitely some sort of ritual described in here on how to open said portal, but it makes no mention of how to close it.
Does it mention where it connects to?
The spell is called. I mean, the ritual is called the bridge between the living, the world of the living, and the world of the dead.
So it's the world of the dead.
That's where you are.
And we're in the Shadowfell, so
which is the world of the dead.
So he's trying to send this abomination out to the world of the living.
Reverse that. He brought that abomination in from the world of the living.
Right. Okay, just making sure.
And that portal is a raging.
Yeah, and I know you let me use my Dispel Evil and Good on the cistern.
I did.
If that would work the same way, I only mentioned because,
I mean, the only way to know is to try.
Yeah, I will try that.
Does this seem like a portal back to the world of the living, then?
It would.
No,
it would seem so.
Yes, but which one?
Good point.
Wait, so I am correct that the Shadowfell is the land of the dead, and the other side of this portal is the world of the living.
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I was saying before. All right, jeez. I was totally messed up there.
So, like I said, the ritual is depicted as, knowing, it tells you how to open said portal. It does not make any mention of closing it whatsoever. I mean, you can try the spell on it. I wasn't sure. Now are we saying we're retconning you did not drink those potions of fire breathing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to destroy the books.
Okay.
But I didn't necessarily think that was going to close the portal.
Right.
So the idea was, if the other side is the land of the living, I'm out for an adventure. Maybe a little time spent outside of the ritual chamber would serve my queen better. So I want to destroy the books and then maybe see what's in the land of the living.
Okay, so are you drinking the potion then?
Yes, because I still want, with dramatic flair, I want to extinguish these
literally
necromantic books. Yes.
Sure, you try.
Hondo, do you tell Hondo what's in those books?
No, I don't think he would.
Okay, so then I'm going to keep to myself on that one.
They both probably look awful.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say, Malek, as you breathe fire onto these books, nothing happens.
Oh, okay. They don't burn?
No, seeing as how a fireball didn't destroy them.
Good point.
I mean,
breathing
Or
fire.
acid. Try acid.
He's going to be.
which kind?
Which
Both
kind?
kinds.
After you breathe fire onto the Nibblenomicon, the book itself starts like opening and closing as if it's like trying to munch on something. Like it goes nom, 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 and then stops and then stops animating and closes again.
Handle, this one is calling your name. Crush it into oblivion, as you do.
Hondo takes what, the Nibblenomicon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hondo now has the Nibblenomicon. What is this book about? And Hondo will start to flip through it.
Yeah, the book bites your finger.
Oh, it bites my finger.
It doesn't hurt, but it bites your finger.
Do I notice that it's a book about necromantic cooking?
Yes.
Okay. I personally would like to try some of these.
No, you mustn't. It must be destroyed.
These are like the worst recipes that you've ever
He was-
seen.
He
It's
was,
like- it's-
he was so
I don't-
charmed by me.
I don't know if this was ever in the canon, but when Hondo was first introduced, I do believe that he had recommended eating long pig at one point.
Oh God. However, Malek has a point. You are charmed by him, and he asks you to destroy them.
Ah, yes, good point. So with that in mind, what the hell would Hondo break it with? Hondo, I suppose, puts it on the ground and tries to impale it.
Yeah, with your sword.
Yeah.
It does not puncture the leather of the book.
Malek would like to try Sacred Flame and see if he can cause some radiant fire to burn it that way.
Oh, radiant damage?
Yeah.
The book is unscathed.
Son of a bitch! Who created these things? Who needs to eat such disgusting monstrosities for meals?
Yeah, some of the recipes
Hondo-
even detail like reanimating dead flesh to make it good as new. Because there's always a use for roadkill. And even if that meat is spoiled, there's a way to inject some unlife into it to make it taste just that much better.
Is Hondo able to rip a page out of the book?
You can try.
With what?
Strength.
Can I aid him?
You hold the book while he tries to tear a page
I'm
out?
trying to hold the binding back
Sure.
while he gets in and tears it.
Sure, you have advantage, Hondo.
All right. Hey, much better. 22.
Even with a 22, you are unable to tear a page from the book, and it is struggling while Malek is holding it open.
If your hands were larger.
Would this book survive in the river? And by that he's referencing the river Styx, which is right outside.
You know, the thought had crossed my mind, though I am not used to throwing necromantic articles into this, this hollowed vessel that transports lives, to and fro. Like this is very important. But I also thought of this.
What about the holy water?
To be fair, though, even if it doesn't destroy it, how would anyone get it out of there?
Yes.
So the holy water is also an option.
I will sprinkle it with holy water as we walk down towards the river.
Yes. Sprinkle some holy water on it. Case closed.
Wow. Okay. So
Rovin, before we throw these things away, do you think there's maybe a chance you could lock them back up?
I would assume so. Yeah, if I can unlock locks, I wouldn't think that I couldn't lock them in some way.
I would like to kick the charred corpse of the necromancer as I walk past him.
you kick the charred corpse of the necromancer as you walk past him. You sprinkle some holy water on the books, and it definitely evaporates. It's sizzles and evaporates the moment it touches the covers.
This is a necromancy book, what about using necromancy to destroy it?
Could I use my vampiric touch on one of these books?
I don't know. Could you?
I would like to try. You are disgusting. You do not deserve to exist. My vampiric touch will remove you from this place.
I mean, you hit the book with your vampiric touch.
Alright. And then, what do I just hit? Post it. How do I put it into the comments? So you can read what it does.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, you essentially try to like you touch the book and it tries to, you try to like essentially drain its life, right?
Yeah.
It calms the book. It calms the Nibblenomicon down. But after casting it, you notice that like the skin on your hand going up your arm begins to turn black.
Well, that was a bad idea, Rovid. Stop giving me suggestions.
I mean, it calmed the book down.
These things cannot exist. We have to get them out of here. We have to make sure the temple is restored, and then I think we should go through the portal.
Why don't we just take them with us?
I don't want them. I don't want to be near them.
Rovin, because I forget you're a thief, these books would probably be quite valuable to the right buyer. Because,
well, that's what I was thinking. They're covered in leather.
Not only they're covered in leather, they're heavily enchanted and very illegal.
So who's holding what book?
I think Malek has both of them right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sprinkling them as I walk out of the temple and probably passing the sort of antechamber with the carvings in the floor.
I think the only way to guarantee that somebody bad doesn't get these books is for you to have them. If you leave them here, somebody could potentially find them.
I think I'm going to roll an insight to see if I believe you or not.
I mean, I'm not trying to persuade you to believe me.
Oh man, because I'm at that point
like,
where like
believe my intentions,
you do have a
maybe.
point.
Yeah,
you do have a point. Oh, if only I could speak with my Raven Queen. Maybe she would be able to impart some.
Can we not speak with...
Well, as soon as we have our information, I'm literally getting on my horse and riding for the Palace of Fate at Lithena. I mean, what else are we going to do here?
Sedelum, would you accept the task of bringing these books to her, and maybe she can dispel of them in a proper fashion?
Well, I could think of worse things to be doing with them. At least she'll have some sort of power to contain them.
I think that's a great idea.
As this conversation continues, another sort of like rumble and a blast of air comes out from the portal, shooting more debris and dust into the room.
Sir Delamrook is going to go and inspect the portal.
Yeah, I mean, it's still holding strong. Are you peering inside of it further? Like, are you kind of standing right up against it?
Yes, he's walking up to it and trying to look through it.
You can see a very blurry landscape that appears to be like your view is almost like looking out of the mouth of a cave. And it appears to be in an elevated position. You can see very like dark sky that's sort of like I'd call it, maybe it's like sort of like a umber color.
That's foreboding. Or is it just that everything's tinted by the portal?
It's hard to say.
Well, Sir Delamrook, being the brave knight that he is going to try to approach the portal and peek his head on through, because someone's got to go braving danger, and he's the only knight in the room.
You can do that, but when you cross the cross your head into the threshold of the portal, it pulls the rest of your body through, and now you're actually standing on the other side.
Ah, that's inconvenient.
And as Sir Dellum Rook walks into the portal, those of you who are nearby hear like a sound as he.
Holy shit! He just did that. He
walks-
just went through. What should we follow? I mean,
If I had to guess, that thing leads directly to the Crucible Lands. Why would you want to go there?
if my queen claims it, then I shall go.
Dellum Rook now has the books, right?
How now do you know that
No.
goes to the Crucible Lands?
What? How am I going to guess that goes to the Crucible Lands? The thing that came out of it.
I mean, there's lots of bad places you could open a portal to.
That a giant lobster creature with dead people spiked all over it would come out of? Where have you seen that before? One spot. Am I wrong? No.
Well, maybe you've seen it there.
yeah, but
but,
Sir Dallum would not know that that's...
Sir Dellum would not have, and I don't know how much attention Hondo was paying to the world at large before he got hired.
I think he would know what the Crucible Lands is.
I mean,
and what
everyone.
kind of things
Yeah,
live there.
anyone who's ever lived on Teldoria in the last 160 years knows what the Crucible Lands are.
He's
So I don't know-
generally horrible enough where they don't want to know the details.
Okay, so wait. Now, let's clarify here. We have a portal that goes back and forth between worlds based on the book that is currently in, is it Rovin or Malik's hand?
Malik has both books.
Malik has both. So Hondo will say, how do you think he can come back?
We're
I'm
gonna.
not the.
I was gonna say we're gonna pause with whatever's happening to Sir Dellum Rook right now while you guys debate a few things.
Right. Do we think he can come back out of there? Because we do have a book that could let us go there and then potentially come back.
No, the book just tells you how to open the portal.
Right, but
That portal
But
is open.
the portal goes both ways?
I don't know. You don't know.
Malak,
That's-
which way does the portal go? Both ways or just one way? It seems like both ways, right? Because the thing came out of it and then he went into it, so it seems like...
I don't know, Malek.
Rovin just kind of leans into Malek and goes, I think you just need to tell him what he wants to hear.
You're probably right. That is the wisest thing you have said, as Mr. Halfling.
You're probably just not
Awesome.
listening, but that's okay.
How did you get that name, Toss Bottom?
It's a long story.
It's a family name, man. Like, why you gotta judge?
My father was one of the best bottom tossers in the world.
Oh,
So-
I'll tell you over beers sometime.
oh, Jesus Christ.
It was inherited.
It is
Oh.
very inherited. It is an inherited thing.
It is unique, and I must say I find the tone of your voice especially annoying.
Well, thank you.
Fucking yikes.
I'm also only 3 feet tall. My voice can only go so bass.
I understand. It is of no fault of your own. I am not
It's not. Not at all. Thank you.
I am not about to let our friend and my comrade of the Queen walk out on his own into these crossable lands.
I think
So-
we should just go through the portal.
If this book can continue to open portals back and forth, then maybe I should go do it.
I am definitely not going to the Crucible Lands.
Well, then stay here. Goodbye.
Don't forget to lock up.
Rovin
Oh,
goes ahead
Jesus.
and goes right through the portal.
And Malak will follow.
All right, Hondo, you're by yourself.
Hondo takes a second, walks back and forth, starts walking towards the exit, walks back towards the portal, starts walking back towards the exit, takes a drink of his whiskey, and jumps into the portal.
Beautiful. All of you are now staring at what Sir Delum Rook has kind of been staring at for the last however long that argument took.
Longer than it should have.
You guys are inside a small cave mouth. Doesn't go very deep. It's been sort of used as some sort of, it appears to be like a workshop that was almost like carved out of the side of a mountain, or maybe it's a natural formation. It's kind of hard to tell. But it looks out onto this hellish landscape. It kind of looks like it's like you have these flat areas of just barren wasteland, and then in the distance and in different areas you see these sharp peaks that are kind of almost coming up at angles, where like the ground almost like forms these gigantic like diagonal like spires that just protrude out from the ground, almost like it's like just spikes, you know. Like the earth here is just absolutely misshapen and unnatural. In the distance, you see a very large beam of purple light that seems to be coming from the surface behind like some of these mountains and spires and peaks, straight up into the clouds above and beyond where your eyes can see through those clouds. There's some sort of roiling storm that's encircling this gigantic spire or beam of light, and you can see even from here miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away, like just the cracks of lightning as it just kind of travels up and around this maelstrom that is encircling this ray of light. Looking down below at the wastelands, you can see hordes and hordes and hordes
of
undead and titans, zombies, titans, roaming. Some of them walking in like broken formations, others just getting distracted and even fighting amongst themselves. But they appear to be marching. The air here, there's a very even those of you who have never used magic in your entire lives can feel sort of this surge of energy that's sort of coursing through and around your bodies, like as if.
Oh, do we have to do the Constitution checks? For the first time in the Crucible lands.
Yes. Constitution saving throws.
Yeah.
So
I have a
as
good
the
one.
three of them pop into the realm, Sir Delum Rook sighs heavily. It's true. Nothing gold can stay.
Huh.
Well, it seems that we've popped into the invasion in progress. It looks like they've come to this verdant area to start destroying things.
Would Malek have any knowledge of Vecna's activity in the material plane?
Not really, no. I mean...
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
However...
but Hondo does know the stories of how the upheaval came to happen.
Yeah,
that
but that had nothing to do with Vecna. It had everything to do with
no
Ebenezer.
But he's aware of Ebenezer and the fact that this is likely a ley convergence, right? This giant purple beam of energy is shooting into the sky.
Maybe, yeah, that's a good assumption.
Yeah, so he's kind of at least generally thinking that this is probably pretty damn close to where Ebenezer is, and is saying to the group, "Okay, can we go back now?"
By the way,
What do you mean go back? This is beautiful here.
Yeah. By the way, I just reviewed all your Constitution saves, and it looks like the only person who saved was Hondo. The rest of you guys are feeling a bit ill, as the energy here is definitely negatively impacting just your general well-being. Like you feel it permeating your bodies.
I do so dislike travel by portal.
You can even see above some of these hordes, there's even flying undead abominations. Just these like horrid-looking things that seem to be almost like spliced together from human remains and like other winged creatures.
Can Hondo go back through the portal?
No.
Damn it.
Sir Dellum Rook, being entirely from the Shadowfell and not knowing the Prime Material plane all that well at all, assumes this is just how things are here.
This is
Because
a
the
normal Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Shadowfell is a supremely fucked up place.
Right.
Why would he assume that this place would be any different?
Oh no, this is even more supremely fucked up. In a different way. It is, it's not the fucked up, Now, Hondo, when you try to the portal is still there. You can see where it is, but when you touch it, it's just solid rock that you're touching, almost like as if your hand is just touching what's the surface behind where the portal was placed.
But I can see through it, right?
You can see through it, and you can see the ceiling of the temple room that you.
I rush over to Malik, and open the book in his hands and start shuffling through for the passage that gets us back, or that I think is the connecting point.
Seeing as how you have zero practice magic skills whatsoever, it's all gibberish to you.
But I'm just rambling. Get us back now. Get us back now.
This place smells like shit. I'm going to try to decipher the necromantic text for opening a portal back to the Shadowfell.
There's a series of words and gestures, and there's... Now, if you recall, the person who opened this portal was on the other side when they opened it.
Right.
They literally had to find a way to travel to the Shadowfell to open this portal, which is a feat in and of itself. So how they got there is beyond me. Or beyond you, I should say.
How any of these guys got there. I was the only one there. It was just me. And then all of a sudden there was all these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a strange day in the Shadowfell for you. Well, no longer the Shadowfell. Now y'all are in a terrible, terrible place. You can try to see if you performing this ritual, but it requires you to precisely carve all of the rune words around the area in which you would like the portal to be, and would require a deep level of magical skill. So you'll have to make me an Arcana check.
Okay. I am not very good at those, but I will do it. 11.
You cannot make heads or tails of how you're supposed to carve these things or get them to actually take on any power of their own.
Sir Dellum, can you do a banishing smite on yourself?
No, but Sir Dellum, in exasperation, walks up and starts going over the page briefly. Not doing all that much better.
It's a 13 on your Arcana check.
Nictu.
Yeah, so it's funny.
Oh, don't read from the book.
You read from the book. And
Dead by dawn.
You said the words. What happens is there's almost like you can almost feel like a fizzle, like something wrong happened while you were uttering the words and making the gestures that the book suggests to make, in order to start, even just the preparation of the ritual. And there is a magical explosion that actually happens from the wall in which that portal is, and it collapses that segment of wall.
The portal's gone too?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of a load off. At least they can't keep coming back and forth, even if we're stuck. That's not Hondo. That's more of a Jarrell thought.
Yeah, it's definitely Sir Dellum Rook's taking this as a secondary victory. All right, well, I've at least secured the way,
Yeah.
Secured the way in.
And additionally, Sir Dellum Rook turns into a potted plant.
What?
Not again.
For the next 2 hours.
Holy shit!
Just like you see as the spell continues to fizzle, that it literally transforms Sir Delum Rook into a potted plant. The potted plant matches the sort of color scheme that he, was bearing prior to being transformed, and you can see that inside the center of the flower are 2 eyes and a mouth.
Hondo puts his face really close to the plant and says, "Can you hear me, Sir Delum?" Does the plant nod in any way or respond? Fran's
I
nodding.
wish I didn't.
I wish I didn't, he says. Yeah, this
But
feels...
why did you go and turn yourself into a plant? Now you have no legs or hands.
Yes.
You can...
Obviously, that's the takeaway, is that I turned myself into the plant.
There are 2 cartoonish leaves that are like hanging off the side of the plant that can act as your arms, quote unquote.
Yes, they are definitely in the hands on hips position. Like he's being very pouty and lectury with those 2 leafy arms.
Hondo is still poking a little bit here and there on your plant body.
You feel every poke.
Now you leave my stamens out of this.
Get your hands off my stamen!
Wow.
So he blew apart the wall and the portal, but there's really only one exit from this cave workshop.
Yes.
If you call that an exit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You see any structures?
Outside of the spires?
Looking down, there
spires.
are a number of ruined buildings, kind of that dot the landscape. Some in maybe more of a grouped collection. Others kind of scattered around the landscape. I mean, you can kind of see for miles from up here. And there is a set of very roughly carved steps that lead down and around the face of this mountain that would head down.
Hondo feels a rumbling in his tummy and tries to grab the Nibblenomicon from Malik. I think this will come in handy now.
What to do with this?
I'm hungry. All that's around are dead things.
So you want to eat the dead book? Because I
No,
know
I
you
want
can't read it.
I want to make dead people cupcakes.
Wait, you want to make cupcakes like dead people cupcakes? Isn't like you want to make cupcakes for dead people, or you want to make cupcakes
The other
from
one.
dead people?
Yeah, out of dead.
I'm gonna turn you into mincemeat.
'Cause I can just see you walking up with a tray
You're
of
not the man the
cupcakes.
Crucible Lands needs,
Yeah.
but you're the man the Crucible Lands deserves.
What a beautiful sentiment for you guys to be stuck in the Crucible Lands as the curtain closes on a
Malek
cliffhanger.
is pouring a little bit of water into Sir Dellenbrook's pot.
Hondo is flipping through the pages for the most either the best brownie recipe or cupcakes, one of the 2.
Yeah. We'll have to see how well that worked out for you the next time we encounter these people
Who are you calling these people?
on the Hapless Heroes
This
podcast.
is bullshit.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this quarantine adventure. What to expect next? These characters obviously may play a part in future stories as we will dive back into our main story the next time we come back together here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do this in person still, but we're hoping that in the coming weeks and months that things can return to a relative state of safety and for us to all gather once more at my table. But until then, we will be handing the reins back to Dave and taking just this group of people right here, these wonderful folks I call my friends, into the next leg of our story. As there are some who, either don't have the means to record remotely like we can, or, are also dealing with their own things as we all, figure out the
Yeah.
challenges of, pretty much being stuck at home most of the time. But we want to say, thanks for still joining us on this journey and, being a part of our adjustment, as it were,
Yeah.
to recording the show remotely. And, I hope that this provided a little more intrigue into the main story, and I'm sure that Dave will be able to take all of the beautiful plot here that I've just spread so lovingly like buttercream on a cake,
Buttercream.
and be able to
Yes, and I'm just gonna go slam it right back into your guys' faces.
like a cream pie.
Yes.
He's gonna leave that.
Yes, John. Any hoozle. If you like what you heard, you can find us all over the interwebs. We can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Hapless Heroes. We also have Facebook and Reddit page. Just search for Hapless Heroes Podcast. A lot of those places just have sticky posts, though, that point you to our favorite place to hang out on the internet, our Discord server. We have a wonderful community of people on there, and I'll say that probably, throughout this quarantine, I've been kind of a mix of active and not, just because, again, right, we are all dealing with our own personal things, but so many people have shared their own experiences, whether it's, with how you're dealing with the current global crisis that we are all in, or even just showing us pictures of your animals and talking about, like, hey, I'm theory crafting a character and want to get some opinions or anything like that. I mean, it's wonderful, the amount of, the way that everyone is just interacting with each other and coming together while we are all, pretty much staring at each other through computer screens. So yeah, come join us, join the conversation, say hello, tell us how much you love us. Another way you could tell us how much you love us, though, is by leaving us a 5-star review on the podcast service that accepts them of your choice. Those reviews really help us kind of grow in the rankings. I've noticed a sharp uptick in the amount of people listening to the show ever since all of this started. So whenever all of you make it here, new listeners, thanks for joining us. That's great. We're so happy to have you. We're so happy to have all of, new and old listeners, people who've been here since the beginning and people who have binged this show in a very short amount of time, which I still find incredibly impressive. Now, if you really, really like us, though, you could donate to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/haplessheroes. By the time this episode releases, I'm hoping that I will have already made an announcement about the Jackbox game sessions that I'm going to hold for our current donors. Probably just hosted right through Discord, because I've recently found with my some of my groups of friends that we can literally just share a screen of someone who owns the game and bam, everyone can play. So definitely want to make sure we get that going. It's just an extra thank you for helping sustain the show and pay our hosting costs, and also just to kind of help us connect with you out there and maybe take some of that distance away from social distancing. That's just patreon.com/haplessheroes.
If you like us, if you really like us, Shellyfield or the whole deal, fertilize me. For the love of God, fertilize me. I'm starving here.
Wow. What a
That's
request.
so gross.
I'm gonna.
Oh God, I can't
Yeah,
watch.
it's not easy to say up there, Mr. Has Legs.
I'm just gonna leave that one alone and let.
I was gonna say it's been a while. It's been a while since I fertilized anything. I think I'm about due.
Oh my God.
Hondo begins unbuckling his pants.
Oh boy. So grabbing the
Careful what
reins.
we wish for, folks.
Grabbing the reins. I am going to outro this cast of characters before anything worse happens. To my left, we have Dave, who has played Sir Dellum Rook.
Thank you. Good night.
John, who brought us Hondo the Immortal.
I've never pooped on a night before.
Phil as Malek.
I was so excited after being in the Shadowfell for so many years. Now I have no idea why I left.
And Mike as the reprised and redeemed? Question mark?
Getting there.
Roventoss bottom.
This is why you compost, folks.
Oh boy, and I'm Francesco. I've been your host and DM. Tune in next week where we give the reins back to Dave and see what's going on with our main party, who are currently fleeing from, more of these horrible undead things.
Yeah.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.